Hey y'all, welcome back to Sasser House. So a couple weeks ago, I got a text of this picture right here from my sister-in-law, Abby. She was asking if I could build one of these. I had never even heard of this. This is called a sensory table. And I did a little bit of research, and apparently these are really popular right now. And they're supposed to be good for kids developing their motor skills and their creativity skills. And apparently kids love them. And so I knew immediately after doing some research, these were like 150 bucks online. And I knew I could build these for probably 30 or 40 bucks max. And so I wanted to build one of these and surprise my little nephew. And so if you guys want to learn how I built this and you want to do it too, keep watching this video. I'm going to show you the entire process. And here's a little hint. If you watch until the very end, I'm actually going to take this one to my nephew and surprise him with it. And he's going to love it. So keep watching. Hopefully you learn how to make this. If you have any questions, go ahead and comment below. But let's get started. All you will need for this project is 2 of those plastic bins from Walmart, 1 2x3x8 board, and 1 sheet of plywood, which I happen to have laying around the house from an old project, but that's all that you need. So to get started, you start with the sheet of plywood, take your bins and trace around them in an even distance away from the edges of the top. And so I hope that makes sense. But basically trace around them. You want to step in about 1/8 of an inch and then make another mark, and that's what you're actually going to cut out. That way the hole is a little bit smaller than the plastic bins, so they will sit down into the top without falling all the way through. After I got those marked out evenly in the middle of the top, it's time to cut down the overall top to the size that we wanted. I believe that our table was 2 foot by 3 foot, but that all will just depend on the size of the table that you're wanting and the size of the bins that you use in your table. So I cut down one side with the table saw, and then I used the jigsaw for the other. I ended up rounding the edges with my jigsaw because I thought this gave it a nice clean look. And then the next part, you're going to want to start a pilot hole into where those bins will go with your drill, and then take your jigsaw and cut those rectangle spots out so that the plastic bins can sit down into those holes. And then I did a little test fit, and let me show you guys another angle. So drill that pilot hole so you can get your jigsaw blade in there and go ahead and cut out the rest of that square for the plastic bin. The next step is to sand everything down nice and smooth. And so I really wanted to make sure that I sanded this down really good, since it is going to be a kid's toy or a kid's table. I didn't want the kids to be playing with it and get any splinters or anything like that, the paint to be chipping off. So I wanted to make sure that I sanded it all the way around and all the flat surfaces as good as possible. So I sanded and sanded and sanded. This was honestly the longest part of the building process. And here's the finished look of the overall top. I could have made it a little bit smoother around the edges and around those cutouts if I used a router, but I wanted to make it a beginner-friendly project. But that's what the goal is, to be able to lift the boxes up and have them not fall all the way through the top. So next you're going to want to take your 2x3x8 board. I cut them down to 22 inches each, 4 of them, which makes up the legs, but this will really just depend on how tall you want your table to be. We wanted my nephew to not have to bend over, and it was actually the perfect height at 22 inches for the legs, so he didn't have to bend over. I ended up wanting to make it have a little bit more of a modern look, so I marked at this angle and ended up trimming a little bit off of the ends so they would look like that, a little tapered at the end. So that's optional. Then, of course, back to the sanding. I sanded and sanded and sanded because I wanted to make sure these were nice and smooth to the touch and that we wouldn't get any splinters. So sanded all 4 of those table legs down as good as I could. And then the next step, you're going to use something called a Craig jig, a pocket hole system. And so if you are not familiar with these, basically it's just a clamp that will allow you to drill a hole at the perfect angle for the screws to go into the legs and hold them to a top. It's really good to hold 2 boards together, and people use these a lot in furniture making. So I drilled 2 holes in each of these 4 legs, and then this is me testing out lengths of screws. I wanted to make sure that I didn't use a screw that was too long that would actually poke through the top or come through the top. And so I always just do a test board to make sure I have the right length screw that's going to hold good, but also not come out the top of the finished product. And so once it was time to do this on the underneath of the top, I marked evenly about a 1/2 inch off of each side of the tabletop, so all of the legs would be exactly in the same spot underneath. And so I went ahead and screwed all of those down to where they needed to be. So after flipping the table over, I felt of it and it really was not as sturdy and as stable as I would have wanted it to be, and I tried to fasten the screws up a little more, tighten them up a little more, and it just did not work. I should have built this table a little bit differently and had more bracing, but I had a second idea and it ended up working. I got these little L brackets from Walmart. Here's what they look like, a close-up. They're just like a 90-degree bracket that basically attaches to the top and then attaches to the legs, and this ended up making it a lot more sturdy. And I was just worried that whenever the kids are playing with it, it would be too much weight if they put water in the table or a lot of toys. So these little brackets ended up saving the table and made it plenty sturdy for a kid's table. Next, Abby did not want it to be all natural like the one in the picture. She wanted it to be this green color, which I think matched some of the other stuff around their house. So I went ahead and slapped on a couple coats of this green paint. I did the underneath first, flip it over, and then do the finished top. And I think that the green is really fun, but this is of course optional. You can leave it natural, you can stain it, or you can paint it any color that you want. So that part is up to you. The last step is the same though. You use this polyacrylic, polyurethane. It's water-based. It's triple thick version is one I get because it takes less coats, so less work. It saves you a lot of time. So same steps as before with painting. Paint it all on. This stuff is going to protect the paint and then make it safe for kids to play with.
Uncle Chris has a surprise for you. Go see what that is. What is it? What we're going to do is we're going to put some fun stuff in here, and you're going to get to play. Play! Thank you, Uncle Chris. Okay, let me go fill it up with stuff.
So Abby and Odie were both so excited. Abby immediately got out some little beans or seeds, a bunch of little toys, which we would have never thought of. We had actually never heard of these sensory tables, but apparently this was amazing because he played with these toys and these tongs, switching them from box to box and then back over again. All day long, it seemed like. It really did calm him down, and it had him focus on this one toy and this one little table. And so I think that he loved it. I think it was a success, and we were so glad that we got to surprise Odie with this little sensory table. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and that you guys are encouraged to try to build one of these for your kids or a kid that you know. And go ahead and like and subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you guys on the next one.